boys and girls. It's so nice to see you. Today, we're going to read another science book. Oh boy! This one is called The Flight of the Honeybee. It was written by Raymond and illustrated by Brian Lovelock. Are you ready to read about honeybees? The honeybee is one of the smallest creatures in the world, but it may be the most important for life on Earth. It is the planet's greatest pollinator, moving pollen from one plant to another, causing flowers to produce seeds and fruits. Honeybees can live in the wild or in boxes made by beekeepers. A honeybee can't live alone. It's part of a family that works closely together. A bee is always changing jobs. First, she is a cleaner, then a babysitter, a builder, a guard, a scout, and finally a harvester. This is the story of a scout. All right. I think these pictures are just beautiful, don't you? There's the honeybee in the box. She must live with a beekeeper. A bee the size of a cherry pit crawls from the hive. Her stripes glow golden in the morning sun. Scout has spent her whole life in the crowded hive. Now it is time for her to fly out and explore the world. Time to search for flowers from which to collect pollen and nectar for food. Her sister bees are inside, making honey. But will there be enough? The cold is coming, and Scout must find the last flowers of the fall. And here's all the bee boxes. Must be a honeybee farm. There are about 50,000 female bees in a hive and very few males. Lots of girls, not too many boys. Scout's wings hum to life so fast that they are almost invisible, lifting her into the wide sky. She rises in a spiral up and away from the hive. Scout remembers what she passes as she flies, so later she can return home. She knows the sun will guide her too. Bees navigate using sunlight, landmarks, and smell. They also have a magnetic sense that is like a built-in compass. How interesting! They have lots of tools to help them find their way home. Scout flies swift and straight as an arrow. The wind buffets her, ruffling the fine hairs on her face, but she keeps on steadily and rides out the rapids. Eyes as black as polished stones are searching, seeking a splash of color below. An arresting smell drifts on the breeze. Scout locks on to the scent. She flies over a clearing, and spread before her is a marvelous meadow, an ocean of flowers. Bees are furry, even their eyeballs. The hairs help them sense changes in the wind. That helps them fly. Bees have a powerful sense of smell. They use their antenna to pick up scents. Bees can smell in stereo, each antenna smelling in a different direction. That's so interesting. Here are the bees' antenna, and each one smells in a different direction. Wow! A flash of feathers. A hungry blackbird swoops for the kill. But Scout zips down and escapes into the trees, weaving between tangled twigs. Many creatures eat honeybees, including other insects such as wasps and dragonflies, as well as spiders, frogs, birds, and mammals such as bears and badgers. So honeybees have lots of enemies in the wild. Things that want to eat them for food. When the coast is clear, when Scout can't see the bird anymore, Scout is drawn to the sea of flowers again. She settles on a velvety petal and plunges her head into the flower. Here is sunken treasure, a cup of sweet nectar. The tip of her tongue, shaped like a miniature spoon, sips the syrup. Scout zigs and zags from flower to flower, spreading pollen around. The pollen clings to her fuzzy body, a sprinkle of sun powder. So the pollen are these little yellow flecks of powder. That's what they're talking about. And when the bees get near the flower that has the pollen on it, the pollen sticks to the bees, and this is going to tell us why. Bees are charged with static electricity during flight, which attracts pollen to their bodies. They have an extra stomach in which they carry nectar home. How about that? Scout has finished drinking. She must tell her sister bees about this field of blue. But a thundercloud cloaks the sun. All at once, the cloud bursts. Rain batters Scout to the ground. She crawls under a leaf as hailstone bombs explode around her. There she is, hiding in the leaves, away from the hailstones. They're hard, they hurt. Bees avoid rain and storms. Raindrops can damage them and chill their wing muscles, leaving them grounded. So if their wings muscles get too cold, they won't flap and they can't fly. That's serious for a honeybee. I do love these paintings and the pictures. They're just beautiful. The downpour passes. The thunderstorm is gone. Scout picks up the scent of her hive and follows it. Okay, she's got to go home. Outside the hive, there is a squad of guard bees. The yellow-jacketed enemy is attacking. Scout knows that twitchy way of flying. It's a wasp. It's an enemy. The wasp grabs Scout as she glides into land. It raises its stinger, but the guards move in, wrestling the wasp with their legs. Honeybees sting only to defend themselves. They will die after stinging larger animals, so they don't want to sting anybody. And there are the guard bees wrestling the wasp away. Wasps invade beehives to steal honey and eat baby bees. They are not friends, are they? No. Scout is safe inside the hive at last. She begins a dance on the wax comb. An audience gathers, captivated by the floral scent on Scout's body. She came back smelling like flowers for everybody. Scout spins a story and dance, every movement a sentence. Scout waggles and twists and turns, describing the route to the blue meadow. She pauses only to share samples of the sweet nectar. Hey, sister bees, this is how you get there, and this is what it tastes like. Yum. Scout repeats her dance for many sister bees. The bees' dance is a complex language that can communicate millions of different messages. Those bees are so smart, aren't they? They can tell their sister bees how to get there, and they know millions of different languages and signs. Wow! Now the sister bees know where to go. Looks like they're ready. Yep. Now that the sister bees know where to find the meadow, hundreds of bees take off. They flick from the hive like golden pebbles. Bees need to harvest nectar from more than 2 million flowers to make enough honey to fill just one jar. Wow, that is so much work. Back in the beehive. Back in the hive, Scout passes her precious nectar to the house bees. They put it in the comb and fan it with their wings. The nectar will be transformed into liquid gold, honey for the bees to eat. Nectar is mostly water until the bees dry and thicken it by beating their wings, converting it into honey. Scout visits the nursery, where babysitter bees pluck the pollen from her body and mix it with honey to feed the babies. Nearby sits the queen, long and lustrous. She is mother of all the bees, laying eggs that look like tiny grains of rice. A queen can lay thousands of eggs a day. It is the job of a few male bees in the hive to fertilize a new queen. So that's why they keep the boys around, to fertilize the eggs. And there are the babysitter bees pulling the pollen off of Scout to mix with the honey and feed to the babies. Exhausted after her mission, Scout rests her silvery wings for a spell. That means for a few minutes. Soon she will join her sister bees in the blue meadow for the fall harvest. With enough honey, her family can now survive the winter. Scout's daring flight has been worth every beat of her wings. In its lifetime, a bee can travel more than 500 miles, 800 kilometers on flower runs until its wings eventually wear out. I did not know that. They just keep going and going till they cannot fly anymore. Isn't that interesting? Oh my goodness. In the back of the book, Save the Bees. Pollination by bees gives us delicious apples, cherries, strawberries, nuts, and many vegetables. But honeybees are in danger of dying out. You can help bees by giving them food and clean places to live. Plant a variety of flowers, herbs, and flowering trees. Plant plants with flowers on them to pull the bees and give them some pollen and nectar, right? Don't use toxic chemicals in gardens, right? Try to use natural products and stay away from chemicals. Don't pollute the air or water. Don't put bad stuff in the air and don't put bad stuff in the water. These steps will also help other pollinators, such as bumblebees, butterflies, small native bees, and other insects. So now we know what to do to help save the bees. And this book also has an index. So if there's a topic that you're interested in looking at, it tells you the page numbers where you can find it. Wasn't this a great book? I learned so much about bees. What about you? I hope you enjoyed it, boys and girls. See you next time. Bye-bye.